Hello leaders, this is Jeff Wheaton, Training Manager in Human Resources, and I want to welcome you all today to the Team Member Opinion Survey, Coach Report, and Action Plan training. Some of you may recall last month when I sent out your Team Member Opinion Survey results, which included your scorecard as well as your team member comment report. I also mentioned in that email that I would be sending out additional information later in February to include the coach report and the action plan. This training today is designed to walk you through the coach report so you'll fully understand what's included. In addition, it's to walk you through the action plan worksheet so you'll be able to work through that worksheet and set up an action plan for your department in 2023. All right, so let's get started. So we all know that the team member opinion survey is important. It's important because we want our team members to be able to give us feedback, to give us their opinion, maybe even to give us some suggestions on things that they think we can improve. This feedback is important because it allows the team members to feel heard. But what's more important is how we respond to their feedback. We want to let the team members know that they are being heard and that their opinion matters. And we do this by showing them that we listen to them and by making changes according to the feedback that they provided. When team members feel listened to and feel like they're contributing to the company, they seem to like their job more. If they like their job more, team members will stay on longer, so we'll have higher retention rates. If they like their job more, team members will come to work more often because they're happy to be here, so we won't have as much absenteeism. If they like their job more, they'll work harder and we'll have better productivity as well as customer service. In addition, when we listen to frontline team members, they're able to give us feedback on process improvements. A lot of times as leaders, we're so far removed from the everyday job that we're not aware of what goes on and where improvements are necessary. So it's good to allow team members to give feedback so we can maybe improve some of the processes that we have in place with the company. So the feedback is important, but it's also important that we respond. So with that said, let's take a look at your department scorecard. Again, I sent this out in an email back in January. I'm sure all of you have had the opportunity to look at it by now, so I just want to do a quick review. At the very top of the scorecard, you see a department rating. This rating gives you a score from 0 to 99, and it's based on one question. The team members were asked, I would rate working in my department as. So how would they rate working in their department? And they can pick a number anywhere from 0 to 99, obviously 99 being the best. In this example, the department or the team members, the department actually scored a 78.7 when it looked at the ratings from all of the team members in the department. So that's the department rating. Below that, you have additional categories. So you might have work environment, training, growth opportunities, department effectiveness, management effectiveness, so on and so forth. And below each category, you have some additional questions that the team member were asked, and they were able to score this from 1 to 5, depending on how they felt about that question. And then it all rolled up into overall category score for each category. So this is what the scorecard looked like when you receive it, and you can refer back to that as you go through this training. Now let's take a look at the coach report, or at least the top portion of it. So here again is your department scorecard. This is just the top portion of it. Here's the department rating, and again, in this case, it was a 77.7. That information is transferred over to the annual coach report that you're going to receive this week. So the scores is carried over, and it's rounded up. So the 77.7 on the coach report appears at a 78 for the department, and then it also shows the department rating for the past 2 years, 2020 and 2021. In addition to that, you have the department ranking. So, and it's ranked by division. So for example, G&A has 14 departments in their division. this department ranked number 10 out of the 14 departments. So again, when you're looking at your coach report, you'll see where your department ranked amongst all of the other departments in your division. And then you have the number of surveys. There were 63 in this case done in 2022, and then you also see 2021 and 2020 as well. That's the top portion of the coach report. Here's the full coach report. So again, here's the top portion, okay? And then what Enmoment does, and Enmoment is the company that does this survey for us and that compiles all of the results. What Enmoment does is they determine, based on the scores and all of the scores, what they think would be the most actionable area and the area that they're recommending that this particular department focuses on. Okay, so for this example, they determined that management effectiveness, that section, was the most actionable area. And here are all of the questions that are included in that section. So out of those questions, Enmoment determined that this department scored low in these two areas, and this is what they need to work on. So the questions, my direct manager cares about my concerns, and then my direct manager helps me balance my workload. Okay, so again, Enmoment determined that these were the two areas that performed the worst, and they're saying they're recommending that these are the areas that you focus on. We don't have to take that recommendation. What's important is that you all go through your full scorecard, and you determine, based on your department, what you feel are the most actionable areas, and those are the areas that you want to focus on. So you want to use a combination of your scores as well as the comments that you receive. So you want to review your comment report as well. So again, back to the coach report, what Enmoment does, okay, it says these are the areas that you need to focus on. Here's where you build your action plan. So this coach report is a PDF. It's not an editable document. So you cannot fill in any information here. So what the company has done is set up an actual Excel worksheet for your action plan so that you can build it and fill in all of the information there. So here's what the action plan will look like, or the worksheet will look like, and I will be sending this out along with your coach report. So the top area is for your department information. The second area is for your 3 lowest scores, or you can even, again, you want to use a combination of your scores as well as your comments. So I just put some examples in here: department effectiveness, basic needs, and management effectiveness. So let's just say if those were your 3 areas that you determined you need to focus on. Here you want to put the why, okay? If you know that these are the areas that you want to focus on based on your scores and your comments, then you probably agree that there is some improvement that can happen in those areas. So based on the improvement, you want to understand what's going on, the why are we struggling in the areas, and the why will help you determine what you need to do to improve. The next area is where you can build your action plan, and on the actual action plan, you'll have a number of areas to fill this in. But this is where you want to put what's being done, how this will be communicated to the team, by when, what's the date it will be completed, and then who will own it. Okay, depending on your department, you may have different people that will own each task to make those improvements. So this is where you want to fill in your detailed plan. Below that, you have an area to put in comment responses, and this is important, and I'll show you that on the next slide. So here it is blown up just so you can see it, the comment responses. So remember, we said it's important that we allow team members to give feedback, but it's most important that we respond, that we let them know that they were heard. So here is where you want to put in exactly what they said based on your comment report, and then what your response will be. So I put together an example for you, and what I pulled out, went over a number of comments, about 200 of them, and I found that these 4 areas, it's 2 on this slide, I'll show you the next 2 on the next slide. These 4 areas are the areas that came up the most, where team members had a problem or a concern, or they had some feedback. It was communication, pay, and like I said, we'll go through the other two on the next slide. So, in addition, what I did is I pulled one of the comments. Now, there were several in reference to communication, but I pulled one of the comments that kind of encompassed everything that the other comments were saying. So, essentially, the team members are saying that they don't feel like they're heard. They don't feel like when they give feedback that it's important, that anyone cares about it, or that it contributes to the big picture. So, based on that, you want to put what you heard. Here's the comment. This is what you heard. Team members don't feel as if they are heard. So, what are some of the suggestions? Now, prior to you receiving this training was delivered to the executive teams as well as the directors. And what we determined that with some of the responses, we want to have a consistent response back to the team members. So we want to make sure that we're all saying the same thing. So we came up with some responses. If you determine that communication, pay, or what have you is a concern in your area, here are some suggestions, or not even suggestions, recommendations on how you can respond. So first, team members don't feel heard. You can implement a suggestion box in your department if you don't have one already, or a way for them to give suggestions. HR is going to help with that with a new program that we're rolling out in 2023, and I'll talk more about that at the end of this presentation. That program is actually called You Said, We Heard, and it's going to roll out this year, and again, I'll show you how all of that works. Another thing you can do is ask the team members for ideas on what would make them feel heard. If they're saying, hey, I don't feel heard, well, what can I do to make you feel heard? Is it meetings? Is it one-on-ones? Is it skip level meetings so that they can meet with HR or meet with an executive? So you want to determine what they're looking for to feel heard, and then see if you can put that in place. Follow up with team members on outcomes of their complaint or concern or suggestion. There are times where team members make suggestions and we respond or react to that suggestion, and maybe we even put a change in place, but we don't get back to the team member to say, hey, we heard you, and this is actually what we did based on the feedback that you gave. So we want to make sure that we take those steps and that we follow up with team members. We want to recommend utilizing the Living Live website, or the hub, some of you have may heard it referred to, where we can just keep a track of suggestions that we received, as well as how we responded or how we plan to respond. Okay? And then also reward team members for their suggestions. This is an excellent idea. If a team member gives a suggestion, it's a good suggestion, or some feedback, and it's something that does require a change, and a change is made, reward the team members for it. And you can determine what that reward might be. It could be just a mention of it in a team meeting, could be a live 5, and we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. Something that you can implement for a live 5, or a certificate, what have you. Just something to really let the team member know, hey, not only were you heard, but we appreciated your feedback, and you're being rewarded for that. So those are some of the responses that you can do for communication. The next section is pay. All right. Overall, team members feel like they need pay increases. They're concerned about compensation. So we know at the department level, there really isn't a lot you can do about pay. That's more of a company decision. So based on that, we do want to make them aware of some of the things that they can do, that they can take the lead on, and maybe increasing their pay. And one of them is make them aware of training opportunities. As you all know, we have a mentor training program, and this is specific for the hourly team members. If they go to the mentor training class for the department, and they become a mentor where they mentor new hires when they come on board, anytime they're doing that mentoring of new hires, they get paid an additional $1 an hour. Okay, so that's something that they can take advantage of to increase their pay. They can also take advantage of the leadership training so that they can prepare themselves for a leadership position, whether it be supervisory or a management position as well. We know that the promotions are the best way to increase their pay. Also make them aware that there are opportunities for secondary positions, whether it be in the department that they're in, or other departments that are looking to have shifts filled. Make them aware of that. In addition, always remind them about the programs that we already have in place, like the perfect attendance, the guest service bonus, things that the company just does to reward them for attendance and providing good service. So again, it's not a lot that in a department level that can be done about pay, but there are some things that team members can take a hold of and take the lead on to increase their pay and make more money. So as I said, there were four. Here are the other two. We also had favoritism, okay? Team members feel that the work environment isn't fair, that promotions are based on favoritism in some cases and not qualification. So how should you respond to that? First, we want to let the team members know that all positions will be posted. Another step that we're going to take is we're going to start announcing the positions that are available. This may take place in the Living Live. It may be announcements on the TVs in the hall, but we're going to announce so we can ensure the team members are aware of these opportunities. In addition, we're going to interview everyone that applies for a position. If they meet the qualifications, then they're eligible for transfer if they're attempting to transfer. Okay? So again, we want team members to know that, again, we take their interests seriously, and we're going to allow them the opportunity to interview so that they can put their name in the hat for the position. The next one I think is very important because this is some feedback that I receive in HR often. We want to follow up with a team member that wasn't selected for a position and let them know why they were not selected. Coach them on what they can do better. This is very important. If a team member is not selected, a lot of times, or at least some of the feedback I've received, is team members say, I just didn't hear anything. I didn't know where I stood. I didn't even know if the position was filled. So this way, we let them know, hey, we see that you're interested in growing with the company. We appreciate that. Unfortunately, you wasn't chosen for this position. Here's why, and here's what you can do so the next time this position or another position becomes available, maybe you'll be a better candidate. This is important, again, because if team members are not chosen for a position, they can get deflated and just decide, hey, well, if they're not going to promote me, I want to leave. But if they feel like the opportunity is still there for them and they're open to the coaching and we apply that, they'll stay on and try to advance with the company. So that's important. And then last but not least, recognition. Okay, team members want to be rewarded for doing good work, for having good attendance records. All the team members agree that we do great things when we give away these big prizes, but a lot of times it's done by raffle. Put your name in the hat. Even the Live 5 is kind of done by raffle. Okay, hey, you did a great job. Now put your slip in and see if your name is chosen. So what can we do at the department level to acknowledge our team members? Well, first, I want you to think about when was the last time you gave a Live 5? If you haven't been doing that often in your department, in your team meetings, or in your huddles, please make sure to do that. Do that, weekly, daily, what have you. Do it obviously only when it applies, but make sure we're utilizing the program. Maybe even give certificates of recognition. Certificates are pretty inexpensive, but they go a long way in recognizing team members. This can be done in pre-shifts. It can be done in department and or company meetings. We're also looking at enhancing the Live 5 program, and this would be something at a company level. So you want to wait until you hear about an announcement on this before you mention it. But we're looking to offer maybe second chance winning. So if a team member receives a Live 5 in a department and they're not chosen out of the overall Live 5, they can have something in their department where they have a second chance off of that same Live 5 to win. Or a program where if a team member accumulates a certain number of Live 5s, maybe they get a PTO day, or maybe they get free lunch, or what have you. Just something in addition to just putting it in the bin and hoping that their name is chosen. So we're looking at enhancing those programs. So again, guys, as you work through your action plan, a lot of this stuff is recommendations on what you can use, so that we can be consistent in providing feedback to the team members and telling them what our action plan is and the steps that we're going to take. All right. So as I mentioned, you want to utilize your comment response report. Okay, look at your scores, but also look at your comments and utilize all of that information to determine the 3 areas that you're going to work on your action plan. So if you're noticing on your comment report that you're getting a lot of comments in reference to scheduling, and you identify there are scheduling issues in the department, work with centralized scheduling on getting that fixed. If there's equipment issues, and again, you agree that you need equipment to be fixed or you need new equipment, again, put that in your action plan. Are we recognizing the team members? Are team members asking for more training? So again, read your comment report so that you can utilize that information along with your scores on your scorecard. So one of the actionable items that the company is looking to implement, and I mentioned this earlier, is that we're looking to implement a You Spoke, We Listened campaign in 2023. This campaign is something, it's going to be, it may be a poster, and I'll actually show it to you. A poster looking something like this that can be posted in the department. We'll also put it together in a document form so it can be emailed. But this is a way for us to capture team members' comments throughout the year. We know that the team member opinion survey is done at the end of the year. We don't want to wait that long to get feedback from our team members. So it allows us to capture feedback throughout the year and then come up with an action item or let them know that we listened and what our response will be to that situation. So under You Spoke, you want to add the comments. You don't necessarily want to put the team member's name. They can be anonymous. And then under We Listen, you want to put the response and what we're going to do to address that issue. Again, it'll be either a poster board that you can use, and you can order that from HR, or a PDF flyer type that you can use to be emailed or posted on a bulletin board in your department. So here's the timeline. Starting this week, the week of the 20th, you want to work with your department leadership to create an action plan. The week of the 24th through 28th, review with the division. Your action plan needs to be submitted to HR. Submit it to me, please, Jeff Wheaton. Make sure that I receive it. I know a lot of you right now, as you're watching this, are probably doing the same with your goal setting worksheet, but we want the action plan submitted to me as well. All right. Again, once we have the posters and or the flyers available for the You Spoke, We Listened, we'll send out a communication. You'll be able to then order those from HR. And then the week of 3/1, team member feedback, continuous improvement should be on an ongoing process throughout the year. So utilize some of the things that we're providing as well as things that you're going to provide specific to your department. Okay? So, guys, that's all I have. If you have any questions after you've reviewed this training, feel free to email me at jeffrey.wheaton@livech.com, and I'll definitely get back to you with a response. And I look forward to hearing back from each of you. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.